Heinzekehr, the Executive Director of the Mennonite, and I'm here today in North Newton, Kansas at the MCC Central States offices with Erica Littlewolf, who is the Program Coordinator for the Indigenous Visioning Circle for Mennonite Central Committee Central States. So thanks, Erica, for going live with me today.
You're welcome.
This is Erica's first time Facebook Living, so it's very exciting for us. But Erica, we're talking today because this is Thanksgiving week in the United States. This is a week when there are lots of kind of stereotypical stories that often get told in schools about the relationship between Native Indigenous peoples and settlers, often stories that make settlers feel good, but aren't necessarily truthful about what happened then. So can you talk a little bit about what this week is like for you, how you think about Thanksgiving?
And I think that's a fabulous question because we often hear the stories from a settler point of view, and often if we hear the stories of Native people, it's interpreted through the eyes of settlers. And I think for me, I would just encourage everyone to do a simple Google search on what are the myths of Thanksgiving. And there's a fabulous Indian Country Today. If you Google that, they have myths listed on there, and I think they give the top 8 or top 10. And I think it's important to note that this is a day of mourning for many Native people, and they'll be engaging with it in that way. And also important to note that we are not all the same as Native people. And so some people will also be celebrating with meals and things like that.
And I would say another thing that people could Google would be the Doctrine of Discovery, which is work that you have, educational work that you've been doing a lot across Mennonite Church USA and other places as well. So if people are becoming aware of the Doctrine of Discovery, they're becoming aware of the problematic nature of these stories, what are some alternative activities or stories that you would point them to this week?
Yeah, I think it's important to look and Google Plymouth Rock. They do a ceremony for mourning over there. It's also the anniversary time of the occupation of Alcatraz, and so they're doing a gathering there and having some learning activities. And with my tribe, we have the Sand Creek Massacre that happened later in November, but we'll be starting a healing run from the Sand Creek Massacre site on Thanksgiving Day. So there are alternatives. I would say Google your local Native community and see if they're doing anything. And there's also places you can travel. And I would say if you can't travel anywhere and you're eating with your family, maybe get some alternative stories and tell your children these stories, and we can all learn them and learn other points of view.
And can you talk a little bit more? You mentioned the occupation of Alcatraz. For people who aren't familiar with that story, could you say a little bit more about what that is?
Right, and I'm not good with the technicalities, but the gist being that in the, I think, 60s or 70s, many Native nations occupied Alcatraz, and this
prison out by San
Francisco. And so every year on Thanksgiving they go and they have a sunrise prayer service, and this year is I can't remember what anniversary it is, but there's an anniversary, and so they're doing special events leading up to Thanksgiving.
Got it. So what other types of resources might you point people to dig a little deeper?
Right.
And what are things that MCC is doing? Because I know you've been working on this. What are things you can point people to?
I think what we're doing is we've come out with a DVD on the DOD.org website. You can stream it. It's the Doctrine of Discovery in the Name of Christ. And we've also come out with a study guide, looks like this, and a Bible study. And so they look similar, but they're different.
And these are available online if people
want to online. You can download them and print them, and we can also give you hard copies. But what these do is they lead you through the DVD. You can do this in church, you can do this in small circles, and what it does is it outlines lesson plans, it gives you alternative resources that you can look at, and they're good resources. And we also have timelines that are available that outline specifically the history between Indigenous people and Mennonite groups. And I would also say within this study guide document, we have posters. Here's a small picture of it. And it's called the Oppression Tree, and it comes out of Canada. And we have a big size of these that we can also mail. But it does a great job of showing visually where the Doctrine of Discovery lies in relation to colonialism, in relation to white supremacy, in relation to patriarchy and capitalism. And so it helps you see that out of that comes these social problems that we tend to see, like poverty and things like that. And you can begin to see where Thanksgiving lies, and how, even though we celebrate, we get the day off, what does this mean for other people?
Yeah, and so if we can start to change the ways we're thinking about these stories or retell new stories, that's one way to start addressing these roots. And I love that tell me what you call it again, the tree.
The oppression tree.
The oppression tree.
Yep.
And Doctrine of Discovery is right there at the base.
Yeah, at the base.
Yeah. Well, Erica, are there other ways that you'd invite people to get involved with things that MCC is doing, or other things you'd like to say about this before we log off?
I think it's just good to start getting a different point of view. We do an exercise called the Loss of Turtle Island, which shows the history, native history, quickly in an hour. It shows it in a very visual manner in which you can also feel a lot of things. And so it shows you very quickly what happened, and a lot of people have said that this is a history we didn't get in school. And so it's fabulous, and it gives you a basis of which to go. I know people have also gone to like their local land offices to see who lived on the land before them. And I think it's always questioning, like, is this really the truth, or is this just one side of the story? What's the other side of the story? And just finding out and learning, unlearning, relearning, doing things like that.
Well, thanks for this great reminder, Erica. As a parent of young children myself, this makes me very aware of the types of things they're learning in their schools, and how we talk about what Thanksgiving means in our family, and how we advocate for what they're learning in their curriculum.
Right.
And what's the website where people can find all of these resources again?
dofdmenno.org.
Is it on the study guide? Can we look it up right now?
Yeah, dofdmenno.org.
Okay, and if you Google it, you can find it there too. So we hope that you will check these things out, that you will do some Googling and do your own work of educating yourself about this week. And thanks, Erica, for joining me.
Yeah, thanks, Hannah.
All right, we're logging off.